Did you eat all your food? Good girl. You look so pretty. You look so hungry too. Poor baby. Well, that was a dog that I was feeding. I gave it some water, and you can see like a little cup that I tore up. Poured some water in it, and then I put some food on top of that bag. She was in the park here. And I fed her like 2 of these little plastic packets of food. I usually carry something in my car to feed dogs with. She's running off. She sees another family. They've got a puppy. So she's going off to see them. I feel so sorry for these stray dogs, and she's so friendly. If I had room, if I could take her home, I would. I just don't have the room. It just breaks my heart. Hi y'all, it's Kimberly here. Thank you for coming to my channel. Well, I haven't been posting very much lately. I've just been so busy, and I'm probably not gonna make like daily vlogs for a while. I'm actually starting a new job. I'm a serial job starter. I think I've already said that. I quit my my job with the temp agency, and I'm gonna take like a few days off before I start this other job. It's a much better paying job. It actually pays about $3.50 per hour more than the job that I had. So I've slowly kind of climbed up. Or actually, this job that I was working, it was a job that I worked at about a little over a year ago. I quit because of the way I was being treated and the low pay. And then I went to another job that paid pretty good. It paid actually really pretty decent. And it was actually the highest paying job I had that I've ever had. And it was seasonal though. I did work throughout the season. It was an agriculture job, but they did have another season with another type of job, and it was working in the fields, and I couldn't do it. I had taken the vaccine, and I had worked one day before I took the vaccine. I did okay, so I thought I could do the job, and I had actually done that job when I was younger, when I was a teenager. But here in Texas, it's extremely hot here in the summer, and not as bad as Arizona, but it's very, very hot. And I took the vaccine, and then I took a day off, and then the next day I went back to work thinking I felt much better. I was a little sick after the first day after I took the vaccine, so that's why I took the day off. But then I went back thinking I could do it, and my blood pressure dropped, and I started having issues, and I just couldn't handle the heat, and with my blood pressure dropping, that wasn't a good combination. So I ended up, quitting there, and I did talk to my boss. I wanted to come back for the winter or the seasonal fall season or whatever. And she was, yeah, please come back. And so I just need to get like a temporary job for the summer to last me through the summer until the season picked up. And that's why I went back to my old job. But I didn't know I was going back to my old job until the agency, they started describing it to me, and I was like, oh, that's the job I just quit. It's like, but I went back anyway because I knew how to do it. It was easy, and I knew how to do it. But I did not want to put up with the stuff the issues that I had before. And I told one of the people there, and it was much better. The conditions were much better, and they had hired more people. And I wasn't not liking it. I mean, I didn't have the animosity or whatever you want to call it for it like I did like a year and a half, whenever I quit. But with this other job that I'm starting, I'm just, I don't know, I was kind of, I was just still kind of sick of it in a way. So I quit just to have a few days, almost a week off before I start this. Actually, it was a week. I think. Actually, a full week before I start this other job, which I start on Friday. It's a nighttime job, so I tend to like those jobs, so I can be home in the daytime if I need to go if I have appointments or do whatever. But anyway, the process in Texas that we have is at will employment, which means you can quit any job you want without any notice. I mean, you don't have to stay and work a week or 2 weeks or whatever the company. Normally, most companies want you to give them like a 2-week notice. But in Texas, you don't have to do that. You can work until the end of your shift and say, I quit, and there's no consequence or no retaliation. There should not be. That's the protection in the law that we have. There is supposed to not be any retaliation. That doesn't always work out. They get upset and they start to act weird if you turn in a notice sometimes. And I didn't turn in a notice, and I felt bad. Although I thought I was going to turn in a notice like the last day that I worked, but I ended up, actually I had a migraine on one day and I called in. And then the second day, after you have a migraine, the second day afterwards, you feel kind of weird and groggy, and you feel like I don't know, like you got ran over by a truck or something. You just have this lingering, sometimes you still have lingering pain. I have it like usually in the back of my head to my neck and sometimes in the front. And I can't be in the light. I can't be around loud noises. It's just, completely debilitating. It's like I just have to curl up and suffer through it. And that's what I did the night before. And then the next day, I felt really weak and weird and fatigued. And that night, I had thought I was going to go into work. And then I just started to feel more and more tired. And so I called in again. So I called in 2 days in a row. And then the next night, I was like thinking, I'm just so sick of this job. I don't want to do it anymore. So I called earlier in on the shift before to leave a notice saying I'm not coming in. And then I meant to call the office the next day, which was Saturday. And I think they were only supposed to be there till lunchtime, and I forgot about that. And I ended up not being able to call them. So technically, they may have fired me at the actual job, but I actually work for the temp agency, which I don't know. I'm going to call them on Monday in the morning and talk to them about it, because I do. I wanted to maybe go back to the seasonal job part-time and work this other job. So I don't know. I just have this little dilemma plan trying to work it out, because the job I'm going for, it's maybe part-time, possibly going to be full-time overtime, but it is permanent. I did get hired directly by the company, which is what I wanted. I wanted to be hired by a company and not work all the time for a temp agency. I did like the agency I worked for. It was actually a really good agency, but I always have that worry, that if a job ends or, I got to find another job for a few months or something like that. That's the thing with a temp agency, especially if the company that they're placing you in isn't permanent to hire or temp to hire for a permanent position. And that's always the issue with the work agencies. But now that I've gotten hired full time, thank goodness, I hope it's permanent. Especially with the Christmas season coming up, things are going to get really busy and things are picking up. So that's just a strange thing in Texas. Well, I think there's a lot of other states that have it too, as at will employment, which, in Texas, you do not have to give any notice whatsoever. But some states may have a different version of the at will employment law, but here you don't have to give any kind of notice. But companies, they will say that sometimes if you don't give a notice, they won't rehire you, which they have the option to do that. They don't. not really retaliation, but for their company policy, sometimes they want you to let them know so they can replace you, which um, I think, I guess that's okay. I mean, it doesn't really matter to me, but because companies get you to sign an at-will, they have a paper whenever you go to apply, and if you get hired, they always want you to sign this paper that says it's at-will employment, and it's very important. All companies here do that. They always do it. And I'm surprised at how few people here in Texas understand that part of the law. A lot of people that I've worked with said, you just quit? You didn't give notice? You're not going to? I was like, I don't have to. And they're, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Arguing with me. I'm like, no, you don't. Texas is an at-will employment state. You don't have to give any kind of notice at all. And the only reason I would give a notice sometimes would be if my boss was nice to me, if I had a good boss. It depended on the way I was being treated. If I had a boss who was a jerk, I didn't trust them, to allow me to work the rest of my week without being harassed. And that's a big issue. And even when I was working at the agriculture job, one of the supervisors gave a 2-week notice. They immediately told him when he was turning in his notice, just pack your stuff and leave. And they can do that because they don't have to accept a 2-week notice because it's at-will employment. They can just make you leave instantly. And that's kind of an attitude sometimes that supervisors have, yet they make you sign that paper that says at-will employment. So sometimes they want it only for their benefit, but they want you to turn in a notice, which in Texas, that's not the way it works. And I'm sure there's a lot of other states that I've seen, a lot of different versions of it, or some states where I think they have to give you a certain amount of pay for turning in a notice for a few weeks or so. I don't know. It's just depends on the state you work in. But here, they sure make you sign that paper, and they will not hire you if you don't sign that paper. If you don't want to sign that paper, they'll usually turn around and tell you, well, we don't have any open positions, because they want you to sign that paper, because they want they want to exercise the right to fire you at any moment, which is what that at-will statement is for both the company and the employee. Employee can quit whenever they want, and the company can terminate you or without having to give you any kind of severance pay or anything like that. They don't have to let you work out the rest of your schedule. They can, escort you off the property right then. And they can also lay you off. Some companies don't call it, termination or firing. They say they've laid you off, or voluntary quit and stuff like that. But that's the way it is here in Texas, and I kind of like it like that. The only thing is the benefit of some companies will give you a severance pay according to their state laws, that they may have to, total out an average and then pay you at the end of the week or something like that. There's all, states have all different type of laws, and as far as quitting or firing employees, and I kind of like it here that way. I know we don't have the protection for severance pay, but we also don't have, we have the ability that if we find a better paying job, we can take it right then. We don't have to worry about, we can go from one job to the next, just like that, without any interruption, without any harassment or being told, I don't know. It's just kind of easier, to me, it's an easier process of quitting a job and starting another one, because you can just get your stuff, go to the next job if you want. And this is implemented by business owners who lobbied, the government to have it this way. That's how these laws come about, is, whoever has the power to get it put into law, which workers did not organize, or, it just wasn't something that, I guess, workers in Texas didn't think about or worry about. Instead, this is something that business owners thought about, and then they implemented it through state legislature, and they utilize it very much so here. And they also use it so that they don't have to keep you on the payroll if they don't have enough work. So it really is a money-saving tool that a lot of companies use here, especially low-paying jobs, minimum wage jobs. You know, they don't want to keep somebody if they don't. We don't even, if there's not enough work, like at some companies, or this did happen to me at the agricultural place. Sometimes when we didn't have enough work, we got paid for half a day or even a full day, which that's very rare. I've never had a job pay me that much for not working. And that's another reason why I did like that job. I have been paid, you know, to the end of the hour, or had an extra hour put on, 30 minutes or an hour at some jobs. I've had some bosses do that, but usually that doesn't happen. Most places are not that generous here. And they really utilize that law. So if you live in Texas and you don't know this, there's an at-will employment law here, which says you can quit at any time you want you don't have to even give a notice. I mean, eventually they're going to notice you didn't show up, but I would probably tell them, yeah, this is my last day, which is what I intended to do, because I do it at all my jobs. But I kind of messed up when I kind of was preoccupied, and I kind of forgot about it being a Saturday and they wouldn't be in the office all day. And then I was like, it was like 2:30 and I tried to call and they weren't there. So I was like, oh crap. So I have to wait till Monday, see what happens there. But I want to stay in good standing with the temp agency. The other job I don't really care that much about, because even my sister is quitting to go to another job, and she's been there for like, I don't remember, like 13 or 15, 14 years. I don't know. She's been there forever. And she's really disgusted with it. There's other people there, you know, and when I would train people, I would tell them, if you find a better paying job, if you find another job, you get a better job offer, take it. Because this company does not hire permanent, and I would advise them to, you know, don't throw away a good job for a job that may not be as good, you know, to think about it, you know, first. You know, weigh your options, which one you think is best for you. And hopefully this job, it pays a few dollars more, so hopefully I'm hoping this is starting a better, a little bit better, can't think of the word or the way to say it, a little bit step up for me, a little bit better. And in a few months, I'm probably going to start posting a lot more, but I'm probably going to slow down a little bit now and not post as much. I posted a couple of things on my TikTok. I'm going to try to post a little bit more. I'm not very good at doing my TikToks. I know a lot of people do them every single day, or like two or three times a day, but I just don't have, I have too much other stuff to do, and I don't know, eventually I get around to it. But okay, thank you all. This video is so long. It's way longer than I thought it was going to be. Thank you.